Oh, what's good, guys? Another video here. Today we got another video. We got lies the USA told me about Germany. Before we get into this, I want to shout out Dar the Traveler. He's another reactor in the channel. I saw him react to this video. I didn't watch his video, but I just saw that he did the reaction and it got me curious, so I checked it out. Let's get to it. Is this just an update? What's this? I'm a
It might still be a little controversial, but
I'm gonna skip that. I don't think that has anything to do with the video, and we're
like
trying
I
to
said,
film
I'm
a video.
straying away for the guns for a little bit. So yeah,
I feel that though. I feel that one.
the United States has told me about Germany. We could say Europe, and we could also make it an umbrella topic for any location outside of the United States. I saw this video title. I haven't watched the video yet. I'll watch it after I edit this video from a man on YouTube. I will link his video down below. And the reason
Let me know in the comments below if you'd like me to watch this video.
I didn't watch it yet is because I want to be able to talk about my own experiences without being influenced by others. Just wanted to give credit where credit is due. Other than that, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and let's get right into the video. So the first point is going to be that we are the best. America is the greatest. America is the best. America is better than everywhere and everything else in the world. And I've just realized that this is a lie. It creates a sense of pride, and I feel like it makes people unenthusiastic to leave the United States because you think to yourself, well, I have everything I need and everything's the best here. Why do I need to go somewhere else? An example for me is when I left Florida to come to Germany, I always said that the United States or Florida had the best beaches in the world because that is what everyone told me. That is what I was used to. I lived at the beach. I experienced the beach. I loved the beach. So I'm like, this is the greatest thing ever. And so when I got to Germany, more specifically Europe, and they told me we were going to go on trips to other countries, you know, beachy vacations, I wasn't really excited or enthusiastic because I'm like, I come from Florida. There's nothing better than Florida out there. Then I get to Spain.
I'm gonna be honest, just to touch on what she's saying. I kind of mentioned this in a video before. I forgot what video it was, but I've kind of made that same point. Like, in America, we are basically told that we have the best of everything. And I remember in an older one of my videos, I even made that comment, like, why would we need to go to see other countries? Like, we got the mountains, we got snowy tundra areas, you know, we got beach areas, we got deserts, like, we got it all. We got forests, like, what are we... And people got offended to that, but I think she's kind of breaking down the real way that a lot of Americans think and why that is. If that makes sense. So, yo, shout out to her for that.
I get
but
to
yeah, she's
Italy,
speaking a lot of facts.
I get to Greece, and I'm like, these are very nice beaches. Now, granted, not all of them were equal. Some were better than others, but they were very close contenders, if not better contenders, for my Florida beaches. And I was like, oh no, what's happening? And you know when something's like cracking and breaking in your head and it's something you cannot fathom, it's like my world was crumbling in front of my eyes. I've realized over the years that everything is different and everything has the ability to be great in its own way, and it's not one end all be all truth of greatness. And the thing is, there are so many Americans that talk about things that are done better in foreign countries, and you guys wonder why it's so interesting for Americans or why we make these types of videos. Granted, it's because
or why we watch these videos. That's me right here.
we like to talk and we're just those types of people, I feel like, as a society.
Yeah.
But it's because we have lived a particular life. And so going to a foreign country, it's shocking. It's different because of how we were raised and how we were brought up to think. Everything that we were taught, we realize when we get to a new country that it was a lie. And so a lot of times we're doing this as humor, but also a cry to help or for people to understand that there is something else out there in the world. There are better places out in the world, and there can be change, and also we can be simultaneously in love with places, and we can experience places without, you know, unloving the other place or not finding it to be an amazing place. We can do these things simultaneously. Facts. That does not take away anything from the United States. The next point is
she's speaking facts. Like I almost want to rewind a little bit here. This might be a long video. I'm sorry, y'all.
humor, but also a cry to help. We realize when we get to a country.
All right, I can't find it where she exactly says it, but like when she talks about we're raised in a certain way, that's kind of a point on this channel I've been trying to drive home. And because when you guys talk about, hey, what America should do with this and that and this and that, you're looking at it from the views of a European. But Americans, we just, from everything I've seen just through talking with you all back and forth on the channel, we just think so differently that I don't know how many of, certain things you guys do would work here. Whether it's the guns, whether it's the healthcare system, not because it's a bad system, but because the people are always trying to benefit themselves, and the people who are running things, they're not going to take that hit to help everybody else out, versus like how it is in other places where that's a no-brainer. Obviously give people good health. Stuff like that. Like that's a point I've been trying to drive home to you guys, but she hit it perfect when she said that.
Anything from the United States. The next point is going to be that the United States is the safest place. Now, y'all saw my gun video, so you know how I feel about this. I have to say that safety, you're not safe anywhere in the world. Like,
True.
bad things can happen to you anywhere. But I do have to say that there are fears that I have in the United States that I do not have in Germany. I do not have the fear of being homeless in Germany. I do not have the fear of being destitute. I do not have the fear of being or receiving large bills and being in huge sums of debt for medical, for anything for that matter. I don't have the fear of being shot. I don't have the fear of being targeted. I don't have the fear of bad things happening to me if I'm walking down the street and someone pulls me into an alleyway. I do not have these fears, these lingering thoughts, or this paranoia in Germany like I do in the United States. Something that I've noticed when I talk about bad things happening in the United States when it comes to safety, people will come out of the woodwork and they'll usually use Mexico or some African country, or they'll just say Africa as a continent, thinking that Africa is a country, which is another story, another video idea. I have people that constantly say, but look at those places, look at how unsafe those places are, as a means to compare how great or better the United States is. And I'm like, we have...
That's a fair point. Like, just because, like, I feel like a lot of people think, yeah, these places are really bad, so America must be the best. That's a really good point. Like, just because these places are bad doesn't mean that we're the best. What about these places, Like, that's a fair point.
Constantly, continuously for decades in the United States, villainize certain locations, mostly locations that have a particular religious group or a particular skin color. We have gone to say that they are full of criminals. We've gone to say that they are pieces of crap. We've gone to say it's the bottom of the barrel of cultures or countries. We've gone to say all of these negative things about these locations. So why are we comparing it when we're supposed to be the best country, the safest country? Why are we comparing ourselves with them as a means to say, look how safe we are? And the thing is, for me, the United States has some of the highest rates of many things that are equal to or equated to not being safe. We have high infant mortality rates. We have high inequality to healthcare access. We have high inequality and prejudice based on race or ethnicity in the United States for the medical industry. We have high drinking and driving mortality rates. We have high, intentional homicide rates. We have high manslaughter rates. We have all of these high rates that are some of the highest for our, equal counterparts when it comes to wealth and development. We are some of the highest. And I'm just trying to figure out, how is that safe? But I find it to be a coincidence in the United States that the tourism industry is a humongous industry in the United States. It's one of the most lucrative, and it's also one of the most job-producing industries in the United States. I think the total revenue is 2.6 plus trillion. You guys thought I was going to say billion, trillion, hundreds of billions of dollar industry. The majority of that money comes from domestic travel. It does not come from international travel. And so it'd be really stupid for Americans to say, for media, for the tourism industry, for the government to say, well, we have this cash cow here, and if we just tell people that it's safe all over the world, they're going to take that money and go somewhere else. Could be a conspiracy theory, could be some.
Nah, that's a really good point. Like that's kind of touching on what I was saying earlier. Like, you know, like that's the difference between how Americans think and the rest of the world thinks. You know, when a lot of y'all want to go on vacation, y'all go to a different country. We go to a different state. Like, that's facts. It's just true.
Something true, you never know. The next point is going to be social health care and how it's the worst thing ever. They don't have access to modern medicine. They have long wait times in socialized health care and health insurance systems. The people are receiving subpar or average care compared to the United States. We're so modernized. We have some of the best technology. We have some of the fastest turnarounds. And I'm like, do you really believe this? And I advise,
Like, that's facts. That's I'm gonna use myself as an example here. I don't know if you guys noticed in some of my videos, my eyes been fucking bugging me. Or maybe you don't, but bro, my eyes been bugging the fuck out of me. I try to call the doctor. Bro, I don't have an appointment till like a fucking month from now. Might be over it's over a month from now. Like yeah, the fucking healthcare system sucks ass. Just using myself for an example, I'm living proof of that.
you, if you're that type of person, to please just Google going to the doctor as an American in and type in any country. Videos will be shown to you of people's experiences going to the doctor, going to the hospital in a foreign country with a socialized health insurance, health care system. The thing is, a lot of people like to say that everyone comes to the United States for surgery because they don't have surgery in their country and because of all of these issues that they have in their country and their systems aren't as great. And I'm like, y'all are acting like Americans don't leave the United States for medical tourism as well. It's literally a page on the CDC website, on a lot of different government websites of the United States that talk about medical tourism and Americans leaving the United States to go get procedures done.
Like, we're not going to talk about how many people, who, especially people who live close to the Canadian border, go and buy their medicines in Canada because it's cheaper. Like, that's, yeah.
Surgeries done in foreign countries. There are hundreds and thousands of people that leave the United States every year for surgery and procedures and medical issues, just as there are a lot of people that come to the United States for medical tourism. But the thing is, it's not people coming from Europe. It's people usually coming from South and Central America. I think they make up the biggest chunk. But still, this idea that millions of Europeans are coming from Germany and escaping the shackles of the German healthcare system because it's so horrible compared to the United States is a complete lie. It is literally factually not correct. And when Americans are talking about how expensive or why they pay more, and it's because there's no wait, you have high tech, good medical professionals, the top medical professionals, and all of these things listed as a reason as to why they pay so much and that they have to go in debt. I'm like, those things are readily available in every other place. Like, Germany is usually or already using technology that I've never seen in the United States. And the reason for that is because it's only available to people that can afford it in the United States. I have access to high-tech, state-of-the-art technology in Germany with my socialized health insurance that literally costs a fraction of the price of the United States when you take the end-all be-all number of everything. And for me, healthcare in the United States is sort of like cars. It's like everyone thinks that they're driving a Lamborghini in the United States because the, how do you say, top level of healthcare in the United States is like amazing. But at the end of the day, the peasants, the everyday individuals, the average earners, the average income earners of the United States, they're driving the 1999 Volkswagen Golf. And the issue with this is that it's not a car. We're not talking about car. We're talking about health insurance. We're talking about medical issues. We're talking about things that prevent you from dying, that, how do you say, increase the longevity of your life, your standard of living, your quality of living, and all of these things that make you live longer and have a better, healthier life. We're talking about things that are life and death. We're not talking about whether or not you drive this nice car, that nice car. We're talking literally about dying and living. The last and final point, you guys, is going to be that patriotism is loving your country, y'all. This is a controversial point, but
All right,
I'm
let's see
trying to
what
think
she's
of how
got
I'm
to
going to say
say.
this, you guys, without offending anybody, but I feel like it's going to offend people no matter what. I have really seen over the years, I think now more so than ever, how devout patriotism is very similar to nationalism. I think there's a level to how proud you can be and how much love you have for your country, to where it doesn't step the boundary of it being weird, crazy, extremist. And unfortunately, we have a lot of people that lean into the extremist aspect. And it's not hard because we are a very divisive country. We are a very divisive nation. We always have like, okay, it's one extreme or the other. Talked about this so many times on my
Facts.
channel. We have
Like, that's facts right there. Right? Like, we always tend to think in extremes in this country. Like, me spending my whole life never stepping foot out of America once in my life so far. That's, yeah,
so
I can
many
back that.
extremes in the United States. And so when you question patriotism, or you maybe have a, how do you say, fleeting thought that patriotism might not be as good as it's shoved down our throats to be, you're considered the enemy. We are brainwashed in the United States and we don't know it until we leave for a very long time and then come back. When I went back to the United States, you guys, I realized how freaky it is, how patriotic the United States is, to see an American flag here, someone wearing an American t-shirt here, someone to have a bumper sticker that says God bless America, someone saying go back to your country if you don't like where you come from, having songs on the radio that talk about freedom and loving the United States, the red, white, and blue, the red, white, and blue chips, the Coca-Cola cans that have American flags on them. And I'm just like, what the
Yep.
hell is happening here? And you don't notice this because it's so normal, and it probably doesn't even
Yeah.
register to a lot of Americans how weird this is.
Like, she's bringing that up, and that's stuff I've never even thought about, to be honest with you guys. Like, but that is true. Like, you go and if I go and grab a Pepsi can from, I don't think I have a Pepsi can in this house, but if I go and grab a Pepsi can or Coca-Cola can, there's gonna be like an American flag on the back of it. If you, well, I used to live in North Carolina. In North Carolina, they literally have, I think it's on the Pepsi. You have to, it's either Coke or Pepsi. My memory is mixed, but it literally has like made in NC, like kind of bragging, like that's where it's from. It's that's facts.
Until you come back from being gone for so long. And the thing is, we have made the American flag, this idea of freedom and patriotism, the end all be all of what America is. As a kid in the United States, as an American child, I had to every day pledge allegiance to a flag.
To the flag
I had
of
to
the United
basically
States of
stand there,
America.
stare at a flag with my hand across my chest, saying that I'm going to love the United States. And an interesting story for this is that in school, we had to do this pledge every
Day.
morning at like
Yep.
7 or 8 a.m. And so one day I just was not feeling it. I was like, you know what?
Oh my god. Yo, she did not do the same thing. Hold up. Okay. Now, this might be interesting now.
I'm not doing this damn pledge. I'm
I've
tired
done
of
this
this
before.
pledge. I don't want
Let's
to
see
do
what
it
she
anymore. I
says.
don't want to be bothered by it anymore. I just decided to sit my little butt at my desk. The teacher came. She told me I had to stand up. I said, I'm not going to stand up for the pledge. I do this every day for years of my life. I'm not going to do it. She called the school cop, the school security guard, to come escort me out of the class because I was being a nuisance and I was being disrespectful to the United States of America, and send me to detention. I had to go talk to the principal. The principal told me I was being defiant, and then he sent me to ISS, which is basically in-school detention.
Where you sit in a room and do nothing. That's now I didn't get in-school suspension for when I did it, but I did something very similar to that, and I basically argued with the teacher. And in school, I was just kind of that kid who had that reputation of just not taking authority from anyone. The teacher just walked off. I didn't get in school suspension or anything like she did, just because I think the teacher was just like, this guy is just always an asshole. Because I was just an asshole as a kid to the teachers, being honest. So I just don't think the teacher bothered. But I went and, yeah, basically didn't do it. And the teacher literally was pissed. And everybody, I remember, now that I look back, everybody is looking at me like, whoa, what the fuck? Like, it's just funny. Like, I got less attention, like, arguing with the teacher than I did not just standing up and doing the Pledge of Allegiance. Isn't that some shit?
You had to go, instead of to your class, you had to be stuck in a room and a desk that had walls
Yep.
all the way around you. You could not make eye contact with anyone. You had to sit up straight. Your hands were not allowed to be on your lap. They weren't allowed to do anything. And then I would do all my schoolwork, and then I would have to write.
So do you guys not have this in other countries? Just curious. Now, I remember for me, I would get this all the time, and honestly, I'd just be on my phone or like, looking stuff up, because honestly, the in-school suspension lady, at least for me, was like an old lady, and it's like, I'm sorry, but even in middle school, like, some old lady is not gonna be able to physically take my phone. And it's so stupid, actually, when I think back on this. This is completely off topic, but like, you get in fights, and what do? They send the two kids who are just fighting each other into the same room, and the only one there to break them up is some little old lady. Like, with all due respect, like, no old lady stopping me from fighting somebody. Even back when I went to the school I'm thinking of, like, no old lady is stopping me from getting at somebody when I was 15 years old. Not gonna happen. So, yeah, now that I think about it, fun. School suspension is kind of stupid, isn't it? I kind of liked it because I just liked sleeping off the day and being up all night. So I liked it, but most don't.
Right, 500 to 1,000 lines saying, I will not defy the Pledge of Allegiance. I will not sit during the Pledge of Allegiance. And then when I turned the paper in, I had to promise that I would always pledge to the flag. This is not patriotism. This is forcing an idea, an ideology, an unethical behavior on people, on children. A lot of Americans that are very patriotic will say that it's very important for these types of things because it instills a sense of cohesiveness. But my problem is that when we take things from outdated past in the United States and apply it.
That's a funny shirt. People might be mad I'm laughing, but that's a funny shirt. And I'm gonna be honest, I do agree to a degree with, like, if you don't like it, go home. Not to the extremes, right? Like, you can have your feelings and you can have your opinions, but, like, let's say you wanted to move to America from, I don't know, anywhere, right? Like, from the UK, random ass country, but we just play with me, right? Join me. Don't try to turn America into the place you left, if that makes sense. That's the level where I'd say, like, if you're gonna move to America but you're looking for things in the UK and you want it to be like the UK, then stay in the UK, right? Like, Americans shouldn't be going to Germany trying to Americanize Germany, right? Like, that's just... So I agree with it on that small level, but I do think people take it to, like, the extremes. Like, I know there's plenty of people who get annoyed if they hear people speaking like a native language, they get butthurt, and I'm just like, why? Like, let them speak their language, who cares? But there's plenty of people like that, and that's stuff I disagree with, but I hope you guys get what I'm saying.
To the modern day current society, it does not work. It does not make sense because these things were created, these things were made during a time when people were not equal, when there was segregation, when there was inequality, when there was racism, when black people were slaves, or when women couldn't vote, when poor people were treated like shit as well. All of these things were created, and I'm not just talking about the Pledge of Allegiance. I'm talking about so many things that we base patriotism and life and the core value and fundamental stage of the United States. We base these things on outdated principles and outdated ideas. And so at some point, I think people are starting to realize that it makes no sense and it's all a crock of crap. And so do I think it's important to be proud of the United States? If you're proud of something that is legitimate, yes. But if you're just proud because you're an American and that's all you have to offer, that's not being a patriot. That is being a nationalist. And that is not something to be proud of, and that's not something that is good. But yeah, those were all the points, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Other than that, I'm going to sleep now. There's a baby crying over me. Other than that, thank you so much for watching, you guys. I love y'all, and bye.
This was an interesting video. I enjoyed this a lot. Yo, I hope you guys enjoyed it too. Hopefully I didn't say too many controversial things that got people in an uproar. We'll find out in the comments below. If you got something to say, let me know. But yeah, if you guys had a good time, give me a fat ass like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell, click all. Shout out to Haley Alexis. Go check her channel out. And yeah, we're out. Bye.